say this is one array. So we are having some values. It is an array. In this array, I have 10 a true like this. Are they same data type? They are not same data type. They are different data types. And I am printing these values. That means when I run this, you can see it is working fine. That means this definition is wrong. That means we just proved it wrong. They say that it is a collection of elements of same data type, but we have different data types. So that is the misunderstanding about array every learner usually have because they are given with such definitions. So, but actually why it is wrong? That means you are saying that Google is wrong. You are saying Google is wrong. Of course, why not? Who is Google after all? That means Google also wrong. On Google Maps, will you find the correct location on map every time? Will you find the correct route every time? Sometimes it will show abandoned routes. No? Then how you trust Google? Right? So this is not Google definition. What Google is doing, it is collecting all definitions from different websites and showing you. That's it. So, and who are those websites? We are not sure who are those. They have their own ideas. They put in their website and you are following them. So this is one basic misunderstanding about array. That array is a collection of same data type of elements. Actually, it is not. Array can handle different data types also. Then why many people have this definition? What exactly the concept of array? What is the purpose of array? Let's see that. Actually, the main purpose of array and why people have such definitions also you will understand. The main purpose of arrays are used in computer programming to reduce overhead and complexity. That is the main purpose. So arrays are used in computer programming to reduce overhead and complexity. That is the first use of array. That is actually purpose of array. So what is overhead and what is complexity? Let's see that example, how it actually works. Right. 1 second. Let's see. Now see what is arrays purpose. Arrays are used for reducing overhead and reducing complexity. That is the main concept. What is the meaning of this? Let's see. What is meant by overhead? What is overhead? How overhead issues will come? Actually, you see, suppose we have uh, in early days of computer technologies, not only computer technologies, electronic devices, we used to store data. We used to store data is stored in magnetic tapes. We will store in magnetic tapes. Actually, data is stored in magnet tapes. I hope you people know tape recorder, VCR, we know. That means data we used to store in magnet tape. Magnet tape means, so this is a tape. In this magnet tape, data is stored in the binary format like this. Data is in the binary format 0101. Now what happens is we usually have a read write head. We usually have a read write head. This is a head which reads and writes in the tape. This will move in a sequential order and it is going to read and write the data in a sequential order. Like this, it will move. You know, in tape recorders, if you have used to listen to the same song again, we need to rewind and listen. That means everything is in order. It will read in order, it will store in order. There is a sequential order. There is no problem in that. That means it stores in order and reads in order. This is magnet tape. Even computers also use magnet tape. So computers also use magnet tapes. After that, the concept of disk came. The concept of disk. Disk means floppy disk, compact disk, hard disk. Do you know in disk how data is stored? Actually, inside the disk, we usually have divisions like this. We usually have divisions like this inside disk, inside floppy disk, compact disk. Divisions will be like this. We have divisions in this way. Like this, divisions will be there. Do you know? Actually, these divisions are called as tracks and sectors. We call them tracks and sectors. Data is stored in these tracks and sectors. In these tracks and sectors, do you know how data is stored? In the tracks and sectors, data is stored like this. Actually, we have A, after that B, and after that C. Like this, data is stored. Then we have D, we have E, and we have F. Like this, data is stored. Actually, inside hard disk, CD, floppy, data is arranged like this. Usually what happens is there will be a read write head. Suppose this is a read write arm. It moves like this, like a wiper. That means it will read A, B, C. After that, what happens? Disk will rotate. When disk rotates, it will come with what? D, E, F. So that means it reads the data in this order. Actually, data is in this order. That means just roughly I will give here. Data is in this order. In this order, data used to store, not in a spiral way. Gramophone records. Gramophone records store data in a spiral way. But here they are not spiral. They are stored in this way. The data is stored in this way. In a CD or floppy or hard disk, data is stored like this. Actually, if you see internally, hard disk, hard disk drive. Okay. You see hard disk drive internally, you can observe the hard disk images. Internal hard disk looks like this. This is hard disk actually. This is a hard disk drive internal. Inside hard disk, it is like this. This is hard disk inside. Actually, what is this? This is hard disk inside. You can observe here in this. This is actually called as, we call it as a spindle. It is called as spindle. Spindle is a motor. That motor rotates the disk round. Motor is going to rotate the disk. You see a disk is fixed here. Huh? This disk will be rotating round. This is motor which will rotate the disk. And this is actually, that is, we call it as read, that is read write arm. That is read write arm. Reading, writing data into hard disk is done by this arm. You see this arm is fixed here now. Then how it will move? That means it is going to move like this, like a wiper. Huh? It is going to move in this way. Left, right, it is moving. The disk is rotating around and the arm is moving like a wiper, left, right. So how data will store? Data will store in left, right, right, left order. That is how data is stored. Inside hard disk, inside CD, inside floppy. In computer, data is stored in this way. This is how data stores. Now, what is problem in this is, the problem is when data is stored like this, the problem is nothing but what happens is this place it left empty. That means what happens in one situation, it comes here, it stores A, it stores B and stop. Next day it went to F, E, D like that. Depends. Now what is the problem is this place is left empty. When this place is left empty, next time what happens? Next time when it comes, it will go here. It will see that it is already filled. Then it will go to next. That means that empty space is always left empty. It will never able to use it. That means in the disk, you have space, but you cannot use it. This problem is called overhead. Overhead is an issue where memory is not allocated in order. If memory is not allocated in order, memory is available, but you are unable to use. Some memory blocks are left empty. You cannot store anything there. You can never reach there. That is the problem with hard disks, CD and all. Actually, if you are using computers from more than 10-15 years, do you know 12-15 years back when we use Windows 98, Windows XP like softwares, in our computers, we have, even today we have, in our computers, we have a tool called disk defragmentation. This is disk defragment. Even today it is present, but you don't know about it. This is disk defragment. That means even today it is available, but you are not aware of this. Why? Because what is this disk defragment is, it will move all used sectors one side and unused sectors one side. That means every few days, if you run this disk defragment, then again memory will be available. The unused memory can be used. Otherwise, unused memory will left unused. There will be memory, but it is showing memory full. You are unable to use it. Now this disk defragment, what it will do? It is going to move all used sectors one side, unused sectors another side. Why you people don't know this till now? Because these days in your operating system, it automatically runs weekly. That means every week in the background, it is going to run. That's the reason you people don't know anything about it. But earlier, it is not scheduled like that. Every few days, we have to run manually. Even today, now, go to this option, turn off this option. Currently, it is turned on, turn off. When you turn off this option and use your PC for 1-2 days, then after 2 days, memory issues will come. That means it starts saying memory full, you can't save files. But when you see the hard disk, it is empty. But when you try to save files, it is unable to save. That means there is place, but you cannot store. This issue is called overhead. And this issue because we don't have proper order for storing data. There is no order for storing data. So this is called overhead. And to overcome this problem, they introduced a concept called array. What array can do is, array can reduce overhead by storing values in a sequential order. Array can store values in a sequential order. That means it can reduce overhead. So without arrays also, we can store data. But arrays main purpose is to reduce overhead. Arrays were invented for reducing overhead. So arrays reduce overhead by storing values in sequential order. Arrays reduce complexity by storing multiple values under reference of one name. Under one name, you can store multiple values. And you can store values in a sequential order. That is the concept of array. So array purpose is to reduce overhead and complexity. Generally, when you ask what is the purpose of array to any C++, Java, .NET, all these learners, they will tell array is a collection of similar type of data. I asked you what is use of array and you are telling me how it is behaving, right? I never asked you how it behaves. I asked you what is its use. And everybody's definition is similar type of data. It stores similar type of data. That is its behavior. Why you are telling me behavior when I asked you how it is used for application, how it is useful for application? That means always people have a wrong definition about array. That means they say arrays are used for similar type of data. Who asked? I asked how arrays will help my application. What is the main purpose of them? Why to use them? So the main purpose of array is overhead and complexity. We can reduce overhead, we can reduce complexity. And actually, array can store different type of elements in sequential order. Sequential order. Array can store different types of elements in sequential order. It have the ability to store different types of elements. But what happens is some technologies, like what C++, Java, .NET, these technologies, they have some issues in allocating different types of memory in sequential order. That is the reason they have restricted array to store what type of values? Similar type of values. That means the problem in their technology, they are telling us as a definition. That means the problem in their technology, they are giving us as a definition. That means the problem in their technology is they cannot allocate different memories in a sequential order. So they restricted array to allocate same type memory. That is a problem. In computer technologies, many technologies, arrays can handle different types. In that, JavaScript is one. That means you can store different types of values. If JavaScript is storing different type of values and C++, Java is storing same type of values, that means the array purpose is not about data type. Understood? Huh? In both places you have array, one can store different type, one can store only similar type. Then what is use of array then? Use of array is not about whether it is same type or different type. Use of array is about overhead and complex. Many software programming languages, they don't have the ability to allocate different types of memory. So they restrict array to same type. But in JavaScript, that is not problem. In array, you can store different types of values. Not only that, in other technologies, C++, C, Java, .NET, in those technologies, array size cannot be changed dynamically. Once you mention array size 4, it can handle only 4. But actually, array size can change. That is their problem. That is their problem. Array size can change dynamically. But this also they tell as definition that array size cannot be changed dynamically. No, array size can change dynamically. For example, you see here, I am storing different type of values. It is working. Suppose I will do another. So I am using new array and 2. So how many memory allocations I given? 2. Values of 0 is 10. Values of 1 is 20. Values of 2 is 30. Values of 3 is A. Like this, I am storing several values into that. Now, if it is C, C++, Java, .NET, it shows error. It says that you are allocating 2, you are trying to store so many, but because they can't increase the size dynamically. But JavaScript can do that. There is no problem. So that definition also wrong. That means when people say array size cannot be changed dynamically, that is their problem. That means C++, C, Java, .NET, these people should say in my Java, array is similar type. In my Java, array size cannot be changed dynamically. Don't say array size cannot be changed dynamically. Don't say array is similar type. Because in your technology, it may be that. But globally, there are so many technologies which can handle arrays with different types. and so many technologies which can change array size dynamically. So your technology is capable of only that. So that is not the original purpose of array. The actual purpose of array is all about overhead and complexity. So array can handle different types of values. Array size, array size can be changed dynamically. Dynamically. So however, several programming technologies restrict array to similar data type and will not allow to change the memory dynamically. However, several programming technologies restrict array to similar data type. So similar data type and will not allow to change the memory dynamically. But this is possible with array. So in JavaScript, array can handle different types. Array size can be changed dynamically. Then what is purpose of array? The purpose of array is to reduce overhead and complexity. That is the main purpose of array. So arrays are used to handle this. Arrays are used to handle this. This is the main point about array. Now the question is, what is the meaning of the word array? What is the meaning of the word array? Array means where you come across with this regularly in daily life. Array is a type of arrangement. Array is a type of arrangement. What is this arrangement? For example, what is the concept about arrangement is, suppose, just see, suppose Casio keyboard. Yeah, you see, suppose we have some keyboard like this. This is a keyboard. So this is a keyboard and this is the keyboard we are having. Some keyboard is there. Now actually, yeah, this is the keyboards we are having. Now what is the point about these keyboards? I hope you people know generally the keys on this keyboard have a music sequence. You know, they have a music sequence now. Music sequence. That means this will pronounce one, this will pronounce another. There is a sequence and everybody knows the sequence. Who is learning music, he knows the sequence of these keys. Do I need to play them in the same sequence? No, we can play in any sequence, but they have a specific sequence. We don't need to play in the same sequence. We can play in the same sequence or we can use in a random. This is called array of keys. Your keyboard is an array of keys. This keyboard is an array of keys. Do you know in your keyboard, you will see, you will see A, S, D, F order. Na? Have you ever wondered why it is not A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Why A here, B here, C here, D here, random? Why not A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Numbers are order, na? In keyboard, numbers are in order 1 to 9, 0. Why ABCD not order? Why first Q? Why first W? Why first ERT? Why not ABCD from top to end? You ever got that doubt? Right? Now, the point is why it is not having an order. Actually, it is an order. What kind of order is that ASDF? ASDF IJKL. What is this order? This order is nothing but actually lot of scientific research has done to design this. That means human brains have left right brains, and in an order if I put anything, then it is difficult to handle it in fast speed. Human brain cannot pick up the sequence very fast. It can pick up the random sequence very fast. And to according to that mapping of brain, so this order is easy for anybody to handle with two hands at a time. If with one hand we have to handle A, B, C, D, E, F, G is okay. But with the two hands, if you want to handle, then there must be a specific sequence so that your brain should handle two hands at a time. That means it is very difficult to handle with two hands a sequence. A, B, C, D, E, F, G is there. With two hands handling is difficult. For that, they need to design in a layout in such a way that two hands can easily manage the keys. If you are doing on your mobile keypad, it is ABCD only, na? Am I right? Is it having computer keyboard? What do you say? In your some keypads, there is sequential order. That means one hand operation sequence is good. Multiple hands operation, then it is difficult. It is difficult. That is the reason they have a sequence. That sequence have a meaning, but you don't need to use in that sequence. You can use in any sequence. This kind of arrangement is called as array. Array is a sequential collection which you can access random, and they have a meaning for that sequence, but you can use in random. You can use in random. That is the meaning of the word array. Keyboard is an array of keys. Keyboard is an array of keys. That means why they are in that order, there is a meaning for that. And it is not necessary to use in the same order. You can access in random. What is meant by stack last in first out? There is an order. Queue means first in first out. There is an order. But array don't have an order. You can access first, last, in between, anything, anywhere. That is the meaning of this array. The word meaning of array, actually array refers to, technically, array refers to a type of arrangement which have a sequential order but allows to access in random. Which have a sequential order but allows to access in random. That is the concept of array. So arrays are required in programming to reduce overhead and to reduce the complexity. And in different technologies, the arrays behavior is different. In some technology, it will allow same type. In some technologies, it will allow different type. But the main purpose is if you arrange data in sequential order, it can reduce overhead. That is the main concept of array, right? So Whenever if anyone asks like what is purpose of array, we should always talk about overhead, not about data type. Because in other technologies, usually because array have problem with different data type, they have to use they have to use another concept called collections. That means Java, .NET, C++, all these people use a concept called collections. In that collections, they have a topic called stacks, queues. Why? Because their array cannot do that. Their array always allows you to store same type, and stack, queues and other collections allows different types. For them to handle different types, they need one collection. To handle same type, they need another collection. But in JavaScript, you can handle all it one collection. That is what array. Now with array, you can create like stacks. You can create like queues. Array can create different. That you will see later how to design that. How do we handle them? So the main purpose of array is this. This is the concept of array. So you should understand what is the purpose and how it works. Let's see how it works. So first concept we understood. We can store many values in a sequential order so that we can reduce memory issues in application. Another, many values are stored in one name. It is easy to access all the values with one reference name. So that is the main purpose of array. So how do you configure array? Array configuration. How do you configure array? So in JavaScript, how we configure array? So first point is actually array is declared array is declared by using declared by using var and let. Array is declared by using var and let. Array can be initialized by using const. We know that na, because const will not allow declaring, right? It will can be initialized. And important is after declaration assignment or initialization of memory is mandatory. After declaration, assignment or initialization of memory is mandatory. That is very important. That means suppose I declared var values. This is okay, but still it is not ready to handle array. That means you declared some reference, but it is not ready to handle array. It is not ready to handle array. That means how it can handle array. You say let values, that is also okay, declaration. But so it is not ready. So this is not ready to handle array. To handle array means multiple values. You have to assign or initialize memory. So memory can be assigned or initialized by using two techniques. We have array meta character. Meta character is square brace, and we have array constructor. Array constructor is this array constructor. We have two techniques. array meta character, array constructor. So what is difference between them? Array meta character, array constructor. That means it is still not ready to handle array. What you have to do, you can initialize or you can assign. What is meant by initializing? Suppose var values, this is declaring. After that, into the values, you have to assign like this. You have to define in this way. That means now ready to handle multiple values. Multiple values. Or you can use another technique. What is that? Assignment can be like this. Values is equal to new what? Array. This is also okay. This is also so ready for values. You can use both any of these. And remember, this is what assignment of memory. Memory assignment. Instead of memory assignment, you can use initialization also. Initialization means you already know. This is assignment na. You have initialization also. How you initialize? Initialization already we know. Where what? Values is equal to this. Or where values is equal to what? New array. You can initialize memory or you can assign memory. After initializing and or assigning memory only, it is ready to take values. That means array declaration and array assignment of memory is compulsory. You can assign memory or you can initialize memory. You can assign or initialize memory. So without that, array is not ready to handle multiple values. To handle multiple values, you should assign memory or you should initialize memory. Now, what is difference between meta character and quantify? This one, meta character and constructor. That means what is difference between this and this? Meta character and this array constructor. Let's see what is the difference between these two. What is the difference actually is, remember, in computer programming, anywhere we use the word new. Anywhere, if you use that keyword new, it is actually dynamic memory allocation operator. That is dynamic memory allocation operator. Wherever that new keyword you find, actually it is not keyword, it is called as operator. New is a operator. Some people call it as keywords, but actually it comes under operators. New is an operator. And what is this operator do? It allocates dynamic memory. What is dynamic memory? I told you already static memory, dynamic memory, remember? Na? We learned static pages, dynamic pages. Later, more detail you will learn technically in language also. Static memory means this meta character is static memory. Without new, anything is declared, that is static. With new, anything is declared, that is dynamic. That is dynamic. This basic rule you should remember anywhere in software technology. Any software technology, Java, .NET, anywhere you see new, it is a dynamic memory allocation operator. Dynamic memory allocation operator. So technically, memory is dynamically allocated by using new. What is difference? What is the difference is what is the meta character and what is the array constructor difference. Already we saw one point. It is static, it is dynamic. Static means what? You remembered We discussed static page, dynamic page in the beginning. Actually, static refers to continuous memory. Dynamic refers to discrete memory. Discrete is disconnected memory. Static refers to continuous memory. Dynamic refers to discrete memory. It is nothing but continuous memory means, for example, discrete continuous memory means, suppose in general example, as I already explained once, suppose we are doing some money payment. Suppose we have some online money transactions, money payment. So to a particular person, we are sending money through some bank app, and it is asking before transferring money, it is asking, please enter your password. You entered the password and the money is sent to the same person immediately within the next second. I want to send some more money. Then it will ask password again. Why? Just now I given. Just now I given the password. Then why it is asking password again? To the same person I am sending. To the same person I am sending, within next moment itself I am sending. Within next second I am sending. It is asking password again, not even 2-3 seconds gap. Immediately I am sending. Then why it is asking again? Because the memory allocated for a transaction, that is deleted immediately after the transaction is completed. That means it is deleted. Next time again another transaction, memory is newly allocated. For every request, memory is new. This kind of memory is called as what? Dynamic memory. But that is not good in some occasions. It is good. Why it is good? Memory is well managed, and it is safe and secured. Once you finish, the data is lost, right? But it is not good every time. For example, you are using Gmail. In Gmail, it asks you to log in. You log in with your password. Then for every mail, it asks login. That means if it is dynamic memory, after showing you first mail, when you click second page, it should ask login again. You selected third page, it should ask login again. That means imagine for every page you have to log in. That's not great. Then in this situation, which memory is good? Static. Why? Because the memory allocated for first request will continue for others. Now that is the concept of array here. Now tell me, when you will use array with array constructor, when you will declare array with array constructor, when you don't want any collection continuously. I want a collection for a transaction. After the transaction, that collection should be destroyed from the memory. For another transaction, again newly allocated. Then which is best? Array constructor. I allocate memory and I store some values. I will use it across several requests. Then which one is best? Then you go with what? Static. So whether you declare with meta character or you declare with constructor, that depends on how you want to handle the collection. If you want to allocate memory for a collection and use it continuously without any deallocation of memory, then better you use a meta character. Declare your array with meta character. If the collection regularly changes, then always go with what? Array constructor. So what is difference between meta character and constructor? That is one important question. What is difference between meta character and array constructor? The answer here is array constructor configures dynamic memory configures dynamic memory. So it allocates new memory for every request. It allocates new memory for every request. Dynamic is discrete memory. Discrete memory means disconnected memory. Next, array meta character. Array meta character uses static memory. It is continuous memory. Memory allocated for first request will continue across multiple requests. Across multiple requests. Memory allocated for first request will continue across multiple requests. So how you want to handle your collection? How you usually handle the collection? Based on that, we need to define this. So that is how you configure array. Array requires declaration and memory specification. Both are compulsory. You declared but memory is not assigned or memory is not initialized, then you cannot handle it as an array. You cannot handle multiple values, right? That is configuration. Next important is once you know how to configure the array, next important is we should know about data in array. That means handling array elements. Handling array elements. How you handle array elements? So how we handle array elements? Handling array elements actually generally here also one basic misunderstanding is there. Again, you need to know about that. What is the basic misunderstanding about handling elements in arrays? Actually, suppose we are declaring something like this, where values is equal to, you can initialize. Suppose I have 10, 20, 10A, true. We can store different types of values. Now, actually, what happens is for this, generally, what happens, the memory is like this. Usually, when you define that, generally, what happens is the memory is allocated. For this, the memory is allocated like this. Memory is allocated like this. is allocated like this. In this, three divisions are present: 1, 2, and 3. And in the first memory have three divisions. In the first we have 10. Here we have what? A. And here we are having what? True. Actually, this memory have 0, 1, and 2. And it is also having 0, 1, and 2. It is having 0, 1, 2. You will have like this. Actually, this is this is this is index number, and this is actually property. This is property. We have index number and we have property. Now, in the array, the values are stored, or from the array, the values are accessed with the reference of property, not index. With the reference of property, not index. Generally, everybody uses the word index. That means how arrays are stored. That means everyone have index. They say index. Actually, index is a number. But arrays, you don't use number. Arrays use a string property. The values are stored in array. The values are accessed from array with reference of property, not index number. Actually, they have index number in memory, but we don't directly use it. The index number maps through property, and property name, index name looks same. That's the reason people misunderstand this every time. They think that they are using index numbers, but actually they are using what? Properties. I will show you one point here. Let's prove this point actually. See, suppose we are having 10A true. Don't worry what I am writing, just observe. I am writing a simple logic for this, where property in values. Just observe the concept. Document dot write. Here I am printing property, and I will print its data type. Data type means type of property. Type of property I am printing. Okay. After that, I am printing property values of property. Don't worry the logic what I am writing, just observe. And here type of values of property, their data type. Means I am writing a logic, a simple logic to get the properties and values and their data type. You see now, actually, when I run this, you can see here what it is saying: 0, 1, 2 are string. And in 0, 10 is a number. That's okay. In 1, that A is a string. And in 2, true is a boolean. But 0, 1, 2 are string. I thought these are index numbers. If they are index numbers, then it should be number. That means it is saying string. That means, okay, let's do one thing here. Suppose I am storing values of 3, 0, 10, A, 1, true, 2, and 3. I am writing like a string. In that I will store 30 as value. And you see it is okay taking. That means I am storing with a string reference. It is working fine. Suppose values of 4, I written like a number, and in that I have suppose b something, and even you write like a number, actually it is a string. It is storing in a string. That means the values are stored in array, values are accessed in array, not using index number. They are done by using property. Property name maps to the same index number in memory. That means through property, we will push the data into index number, and property index both are same. Both are same means their names are same. What is the index number? 0. What is the property? 0. But property is a string, and array uses a string property for reading and writing, not index. But even in official locations also, we use index number word as we say index number. But actually it is not index number. If it is index number, it should show data type as number. So it's okay if you say index number, but technically it is not index number. It is not index number. That means your interviewer is not so much worried about this much in-depth knowledge about arrays from you. He don't even expect that from you, right? And a learner and a general ordinary learner, developer, everybody, even developers also, majority they call as index. They call index. It doesn't matter for me whether you call index or string. You don't know about it, but you are using it correctly. That is the reason we don't have an objection with that. And it doesn't matter whether you know or not, because it will matter later in future if you are dealing with libraries internally. That means at architecture level, these will have some effect, but at general usage level, it will not have much effect. That means the people see, suppose what is the point here? We have an architectural team. Architectural team will be there. This architectural team will build a technology called Java. Now what you are a developer. Who are this developer? These developers will use this Java, and by using that Java, what they do, they build an app. That means up to your level, knowing about Java is different, and for these people this is different, because they constructed the technology. They are responsible for designing the technology. That means you are learning Java, .NET, PHP, Python, JavaScript means you are not learning how to design them. You are learning how to use them. That means there are so superior people than you who built them. And for them, these are important. For you, it doesn't matter. That means people who are involved in designing a technology for you. You are learning Java means you are not learning how to build Java. You are learning how to use Java. They already built it. You are just using it to build an application. You are not building everything there. That is the reason at architectural level, this is important. At learning level, not required. You would say index number, it's okay. Index number. But technically it is not number. It is what? String. It refers to a property. That property maps to the index number. You write like a number, it's okay, it works, doesn't matter, because even you write like a number, it will take it as a string. Even you write like a string, it doesn't matter, it will take as string. So that means it is working in both situation here. You can see it is working with the both concept here. String I written, number I written, working fine. So the values are stored, elements are stored. So here array elements are stored and accessed with reference of property, and property map to index number in memory. Array elements are stored and accessed with reference of property and property mapped to index number in memory. So property is string type where index is number type. Property is string type where index is number type. Syntactically, where values is equal to something, values of 0 I written like string is equal to 10. This is valid. Values of 1 is 20. This is also valid. That means you write like a string or you write like a number, both are valid, but actually it is a string. Right. That is array elements. Right. So here array elements are stored using the property reference. And here the question is, what kind of data you can store in array? Array is memory. It can handle any type. That means what kind of data you can store. Element can be what type? That means array element can be any type. That means it can be primitive type. It can be non-primitive type, even primitive type, or it can be even a function. It can be even a function type also. Array element can be any type. It can be number, string, boolean, null, undefined, or it can be array, object, map, or it can be even a function. So in array memory, you can store anything. We can store anything. There is nothing like you have to store only some type. Array can handle any type of data. Any type of data you can store in array. For example, you see array is memory. Array is memory. This code is not required. Later you will learn. This is just to make you understand that key is property is string and value what type. I just given a logic here. Later you will see. Suppose we are creating here something like where values is equal to, here we have 10. So we have a, we have true, and we have a function document.write. In that function it is having hello array. This is the data. You can have anything in array. In array memory you can store anything. You can store a number or a string or a boolean. You can store a function, a primitive, non-primitive, anything. Only the point is just you need to know where which one is there and how do we access. Now here, why function is not having a name? Because function is already in memory. Name is used to give a memory name. It is already in memory. So you doesn't need a name. And it will not take a name also because already it is having a name. And what is the memory name of this function? Can you tell? What is the memory name? Actually values. Values of 0 is 10, 1 is a, 2 is true, 3 is function. 3 is actually referring this memory. Now in that memory, what is present? In that memory, there is a function. We have to execute the function. We have to call the function. And how do you call the function which is in this memory? How do you call the function which is inside the memory? To call the function inside the memory, function don't have a name now. If function is not having a name, then it is called anonymous function. Anonymous function if it is not having name. And anonymous functions we can access and use anywhere by using a mechanism called IIFE. IIFE, immediately invoking function expression. Immediately invoking function expression. It is an IIFE pattern. That means in JavaScript interviews, they ask what is IIFE? It is nothing but the process of accessing an anonymous function. Anonymous functions are invoked immediately by using this technique. And what is the technique? At 3 memory, there is a function, just use a parenthesis. This is immediately invoking the function which is in that memory. In that memory, function don't have a name, then how you will invoke it? By using an empty parenthesis. This is called IIFE. That means now what it will do? It will invoke the function and it will return that result. That means the function executes. And I want to print some other, like I want to print 10, I want to print A. You know that. How do we do that? So document dot write. So suppose here what we are doing br, because already above there is some sentence. I will use here values of 2 or values of 1. Values of 1 means it will return what? A. It returns A. If there is a function in that memory, just call the function will execute, it will perform the functionality. We can store anything inside array. Anything you can store in array. That just you need to understand how to access. It can be primitive type, it can be non-primitive type, it can be a function. Now see here. Now tell me here, suppose we are having 10, 20, 30 and we are having some Delhi, some Hyderabad like this. We have Chennai, something like this. Now tell me how to access Hyderabad. How to access Hyderabad. Values, values of values of 0. At 0 an array is there. At 1 another array is there. That means values of 1. In that one memory again an array is there. That array is accessed with empty meta character. In that array, how many are there? 3. 0, 1, 2. That means 1. And this is going to access the Hyderabad and display that. That means you can have any nested. There is no problem. Array, inside array, another array. Just you need a proper index reference. Right? You need that property. So you can access anything. You can access any complex element. This is array in array. Later you will have more complex data. But suppose you see in this, again there is an array. In array, so we have another array. And in this again we have an array 40, 50, 60. Now how to access this Hyderabad? That means values of 1. At 1 there is an array. At 1 there is an array. In that array again 2 elements are there. Na? In this array again 2 elements are there. And 0 is again array. Na? That means it is having 0. In that 0 again array is there. In that 1. That means it is able to access that Hyderabad and show. Suppose I said as 2. That means it will get the Chennai and show. At 1, then it is going to access that and display. You can use any complex, any array in array. Just you need to understand the sequence of accessing that. Storing values, accessing the values from array. Now, same like you learned string methods. Na? String has so many methods. Same like we have array methods. That means array manipulations. Adding elements, removing elements, updating data into elements. All the array manipulations have lot of array methods. So we need to understand how to use the different types of array methods. So here one important note I will give here. What is that note is functions in array memory are configured as anonymous, as anonymous. So anonymous function. So our anonymous function is accessed by using IIFE pattern. What is that IIFE? Immediately invoking function expression. Immediately invoking function expression. Later in functions also you will learn this concept. That is called IIFE, immediately invoking function expression. That is arrays. Right. Now we have a lot of array methods. How we can handle the arrays. Array methods. That means adding elements, removing, sorting. So many options are there. That we'll see in next session. Right. Tomorrow we can try some examples using array. Today you just learned the complete concept here. Tomorrow we'll see how do we handle the methods, how to read, how to handle some examples using array. Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay, right. Yeah.